The monitoring station floated alone at the edge of Zephyrian space. Inside, 3 aliens watched their screens with tired eyes. Nothing ever happened on the frontier. That was about to change. "Sir, we have an energy reading," said the junior officer, his blue scales turning pale. The station commander looked up from his meal. "Another asteroid?" "No, sir. This is different." The officer's forehands moved across his control panel. "The signature is strange. I've never seen anything like it." The commander moved to the main screen. His eyes went wide. The energy levels were impossible. No known ship could produce such readings. "Run the scan again. The equipment must be broken." "I've run it 3 times, sir. Same result." The commander pressed the emergency button. "Alert the fleet. We have an unknown contact." Far away, the human ship Horizon's Edge moved through space at normal speed. The crew went about their daily tasks, unaware they had crossed into alien territory. Captain Alina Rodriguez sat in her command chair, drinking coffee. "How are the cargo readings, Kyle?" Commander Kyle Mason checked his display. "All secure, Captain. The mining equipment is stable. We should reach the colony in 2 days." "Good. I want to finish this run without problems." Alina had been a merchant captain for 10 years. This was just another delivery job. "Captain, we're getting a signal," said Sam Carter from the communication station. "Unknown language, but it seems like a standard greeting." Alina set down her coffee. "Let me hear it." Strange sounds filled the bridge. The universal translator worked to decode the message. After a moment, words appeared on the screen. "Unknown vessel, identify yourself. You have entered Zephyrian Empire space." "Friendly bunch," Kyle said. "Should we respond?" Elena nodded. "Standard first contact protocol." "Sam, open a channel." In the Zephyrian Command Center, Admiral Xenthar stared at the impossible data. "This can't be right. The energy output is beyond anything in our database." "Sir, they're responding to our hail," reported the communications officer. "Put it through." A human face appeared on the screen. Admiral Xenthar had seen many species, but this one was new. 2 eyes, 1 nose, a small mouth. Nothing special. But the readings from their ship were terrifying. "This is Captain Alina Rodriguez of the human merchant vessel Horizon's Edge. We're carrying mining equipment to our colony. We didn't know we entered your space. Our navigation charts don't show any claimed territory here." "Merchant vessel." Xenthar's 6 eyes blinked in confusion. No merchant ship could have such power levels. This had to be a warship, the most advanced warship he had ever seen. "Human vessel, you will hold position and prepare for inspection," Xenthar ordered. On the human ship, Alina looked confused. "Inspection? For what?" "Maybe they want to check our cargo," suggested Jake Harrison from the operations station. "Some species are careful about imports." "Captain, their ships are moving to surround us," reported Grace Mitchell at navigation. 20 vessels, closing fast." Alina frowned. 20 ships for a cargo inspection. That seems excessive. Back at the alien command center, panic was spreading. Every scan revealed new impossibilities about the human ship. The hull material didn't exist in their science. The power core operated on principles they couldn't understand. Even the basic structure defied their knowledge of engineering. "Admiral, if that's a merchant ship, I'm a Graxian mudworm," said the senior scientist. "The technology is centuries ahead of ours, maybe millennia." Xenthar felt his scales tighten with fear. Could it be ancient technology? Something they found and are using without understanding? "No, sir. The design is fully integrated. This was built by their species. They understand exactly what they have." On the Horizon's Edge, the crew watched the alien fleet with mild interest. "Their ships look pretty old," commented Amy Johnson from the defense station. "I'm reading fusion drives and basic particle weapons." "Let's not judge," Alina said. "Every species develops differently. Sam, Tell them we're happy to submit to inspection. We have nothing to hide." The message sent, but in the Zephyrian command center, it only increased the confusion and fear. What kind of species would so casually reveal a ship that could conquer worlds? The Zephyrian science vessel approached the human ship slowly. Inside, a team of the Empire's best researchers prepared their scanning equipment. Their mission was simple: find out what made this ship impossible. "Beginning deep scan now," announced the lead scientist. His name was Vex 7, and he had studied alien technology for 200 years. Nothing had ever confused him like this. The data started flowing in. Vex 7's 4 arms froze over his controls. "This can't be right," he whispered. "What is it?" asked his assistant. "The propulsion system. It's using controlled fusion, but not like anything we know. The efficiency is over 99%. That's theoretically impossible." On the horizon's edge, Lieutenant Jake Harrison noticed the alien scans. "Captain, they're really interested in our engines." Alina shrugged. "Let them look. We have a standard Mark V fusion drive. Nothing special." "Actually, Lisa is doing some maintenance right now," Jake said. "Should I tell her?" "No need. She knows her job." Deep in the engine room, engineer Lisa Grant had several panels open. She hummed while she worked, replacing worn parts and checking connections. To her, this was routine. To the aliens watching through their scanners, it was watching someone casually handle the power of a star. By the 7 moons, Vex 7 gasped. She's working on the fusion core with her bare hands. No protection suit, no radiation shielding. "Maybe their species is immune to radiation," suggested another scientist. "No species is immune to that level of radiation. It would kill any known life form in seconds." Lisa finished her work and closed the panels. She tapped her communicator. "Bridge, this is engineering. Monthly maintenance complete. The old girl is running smooth." "Thanks, Lisa," Jake replied. "The aliens seem really interested in what you're doing." Lisa laughed. "They probably haven't seen a Mark V before. Should I give them the tour?" In the Zephyrian ship, alarms started blinking. "Sir, the human is moving toward the weapons systems," reported a technician. Vex 7 leaned forward. "What weapons? We haven't detected any weapons." "That's just it, sir. These readings suggest the entire ship is a weapon. The hull can channel energy in ways that would turn it into the largest particle cannon ever built." "Impossible. No one builds civilian ships that can transform into weapons platforms." Lisa walked past the defensive grid controls, checking readings on her tablet. She noticed a slight power fluctuation in Grid 7 and made a small adjustment. To her, she was preventing future repair work. To the aliens, she had just casually recalibrated a system that could vaporize moons. On the bridge, Sam Carter received another message. "Captain, they're asking about our propulsion specifications." Alina sighed. "Send them the standard specs. Fusion drive, model TX7700, manufactured by Johnson Dynamics. It's all public information." The data transfer made things worse for the aliens. The specifications described technology that broke 12 laws of physics. The manufacturing date showed the drive was 20 years old. To humans, it was outdated. To the Zephyrians, it was magic. Admiral Xenthar watched the reports with growing dread. "They sent us fake data. This has to be misinformation." "No, sir," Vex 7 reported. "I cross-referenced with their communication systems, their navigation computer, even their food processors. Everything operates on the same impossible principles. This is their normal technology." "How long have they had faster-than-light travel?" Vex 7 checked his data. According to their computer logs, about 250 years. The bridge fell silent. The Zephyrian Empire had taken 3,000 years to develop FTL travel. They considered themselves an advanced civilization. "Sir," the communications officer interrupted. "The humans are asking if we need any help. They noticed our engines are running hot and offered to share some cooling techniques." Xanthar's scales turned deep purple with embarrassment. The beings with impossible technology thought the mighty Zephyrian fleet needed technical assistance. And the worst part, they were probably right. "Tell them thank you, but we're fine," Xanthar ordered. "And prepare a priority message for the Galactic Council. They need to know about this." Back on the horizon's edge, Alina finished her second cup of coffee. "Nice folks," she said. "A bit nervous, though." "First contact is always tricky," Kyle agreed. "Remember the Altarians? They thought our food synthesizers were religious artifacts." The crew laughed at the memory. None of them realized their simple merchant vessel had just shattered an empire's understanding of the possible. The Galactic Council chamber was enormous. Representatives from 57 species sat in a perfect circle. Today, they faced something unprecedented. Humans. Order. Order. The council speaker, a crystalline being named Jex, pulsed with light. "We have called this emergency session to discuss the human situation." Admiral Xanthar stood to give his report. His voice shook slightly. "Fellow council members, 3 days ago, we encountered a human vessel. What we learned defies everything we know about technology." Ambassador Nickel Wright adjusted her suit jacket. She had arrived on a small diplomatic shuttle, leaving the horizon's edge at a safe distance. The aliens had insisted on this arrangement. She still didn't understand why. "The humans possess technology that our scientists call impossible," Xanthar continued. "Their basic civilian ships operate beyond our understanding." Nickel raised her hand. "Excuse me. May I speak?" The council chamber fell silent. 57 species stared at the small human woman. Jex pulsed acknowledgement. "The human representative may address the council." Nickel stood. "Thank you. I think there's been a misunderstanding. The Horizon's Edge is a standard cargo ship. We're not military. We're here to establish peaceful trade relations." A 6-legged insectoid delegate clicked its mandibles. "You claim this is a civilian vessel, yet it generates power levels that could destroy planets." Nickel looked confused. "Destroy planets? Our ship can barely break apart large asteroids for mining, and only with specialized equipment attached." Back on the horizon's edge, Sam Carter monitored the diplomatic channel. "Captain, they're really focused on our defensive systems." Alina nodded. "Put the shields on standard mode. Show them we're not hiding anything." Engineer Lisa Grant powered up the defensive grid. "Shields at normal levels, Captain. Just enough to stop micro-meteorites and radiation." The energy readings hit the council's sensors. Panic erupted. "They've activated their shields," squealed a serpentine delegate. "The energy pattern is warping space-time." "It's creating a pocket dimension around their ship," added another representative. In the council chamber, alarms started blaring. Nickel looked around in confusion. "What's happening?" "Your ship has activated what you call shields," Jex explained, his crystalline form flickering with concern. "The energy signature suggests reality manipulation on a scale we've only theorized about." Nickel pulled out her communicator. "Sam, what's going on up there?" "Just standard shields, Ambassador. Lisa's running a routine diagnostic." Nickel turned back to the council. "It's just our normal protective barrier. Every human ship has them. It keeps the crew safe from space debris." The delegates exchanged worried looks. If this was their normal protection, what were their actual weapons like? Admiral Xanthar stepped forward. "Ambassador Wright, your species must have found ancient technology. The precursors who built the galaxy's first civilizations. That's the only explanation." "I'm sorry, but no," Nickel replied. "Humans developed all our technology independently. We've never found any ancient alien artifacts." "Impossible," shouted a delegate. "No species could advance this quickly alone." Nickel pulled up her tablet. "I have our history files here. Would you like to see our technological development timeline?" The council agreed. Nickel connected her tablet to their system. The data appeared on the main screen. We discovered fire approximately 400,000 years ago. Nickel began. Agriculture started 10,000 years ago. The steam engine was invented 300 years ago. Powered flight 200 years ago. We reached space 180 years ago. The chamber fell deathly quiet. First faster-than-light travel was achieved 250 years ago. Nickel continued. Artificial gravity came 50 years later. Defensive shields were perfected about 100 years ago. A four-armed delegate fainted. Others sat in stunned silence. Jex managed to speak. You went from fire to bending space in 400,000 years. Well, most of the progress happened in the last 1,000 years, Nickel admitted. We had a few scientific revolutions that sped things up. The council members looked at each other. Their civilizations had taken millions of years to achieve what humans did in hundreds of thousands. We need to recess, Jex announced. This information requires careful consideration. As the delegates filed out, Admiral Xenthar approached Nicole. Ambassador, I have to ask, if this is your civilian technology, what do your warships carry? Nicole smiled politely. Actually, we don't really build warships anymore. We found that trading and cooperating works better than fighting. Xenthar's scales turned pale. A species this advanced didn't even need warships. They were beyond such concepts. The galaxy would never be the same. The Zephyrian war fleet assembled in record time. 300 ships formed a wall between the human vessel and the core worlds. Admiral Xenthar stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the impossible human ship on his screen. All units in position, Admiral, reported his tactical officer. Weapons charged and ready. Xenthar's scales rippled with uncertainty. Send the message. On the horizon's edge, Captain Rodriguez read the incoming transmission with growing confusion. They want us to surrender our doomsday weapon. What doomsday weapon? Commander Kyle Mason shook his head. Maybe they mean the mining lasers. Those can cut through asteroids. Since when are mining tools doomsday weapons? Elena asked. Sam, ask them to clarify. The response came quickly. Human vessel, do not attempt deception. Your ship's power signature threatens the stability of local space. Surrender immediately or face the combined might of the Zephyrian fleet. Elena rubbed her temples. This is getting ridiculous. Amy, what's our defensive status? Amy Johnson checked her console. Standard protocols, Captain. Shields at normal levels. Point defense system on automatic. Nothing aggressive. They have 300 ships out there, Grace Mitchell reported from navigation. They're in attack formation. Elena sighed. Great. Our first contact with these people, and they think we're invading. Ideas, anyone? Maybe we should run some drills, Amy suggested. Show them we're prepared but not aggressive. Standard defensive exercises. Do it, Elena ordered. Maybe they'll calm down when they see we're not attacking. Amy started the drill sequence. It was routine training, something every human ship practiced weekly. Shields cycled through different frequencies. Point defense turrets tracked imaginary targets. Energy flowed through defensive grids in preset patterns. On the Zephyrian flagship, chaos erupted. They're powering weapons, screamed the sensor officer. Energy levels are spiking across all systems. Xenthar watched in horror as the human ship's readings climbed higher. What are they doing? Sir, their shields are modulating through dimensional frequencies we can't track. Their point defense is acquiring targeting solutions on all our ships simultaneously. The power core is building to critical levels. It's a standard drill, Xenthar's science officer reported, reading the human ship's computer. They do this for practice. Practice. Xenthar couldn't believe it. They practice with enough power to crack a moon. Meanwhile, in the Galactic Council chambers, emergency sessions continued. Intelligence reports poured in from across the galaxy. We found records of human colonies, reported the intelligence chief. 17 systems, all developing rapidly. No conquered worlds. No slave species. They simply arrive, set up trade, and everyone benefits. That makes no sense, argued a military advisor. With their technology, they could rule the galaxy. Why choose cooperation? Ambassador Nickel Wright sat quietly, listening to the debate. Finally, she spoke. Because it's easier. All eyes turned to her. Fighting takes resources, Nickel explained. Building warships, maintaining armies, occupying planets. It's exhausting. We learned that cooperation gets better results with less effort. But you could simply take what you want, insisted a delegate. No one could stop you. Nickel smiled. Why take when you can trade? Why fight when you can be friends? It's simple economics. Back at the standoff, the Zephyrian fleet grew more nervous by the minute. The human ship continued its drills, each maneuver demonstrating capabilities beyond comprehension. Admiral, they're hailing us, reported communications. Captain Rodriguez appeared on screen, looking tired. Admiral Xanthar, I'm going to be direct. We're merchants trying to deliver mining equipment. We're not armed for war. These drills are just routine training. Could you please let us continue to our colony? Xanthar studied the human's face. She seemed sincere, but the power readings were terrifying. Captain, your routine training could destroy half my fleet. Elena blinked in surprise. Our training? How? Your shields alone generate gravitational distortions. Your point defense system locks onto targets faster than light. Your power core operates at energy densities that shouldn't exist. Elena turned to her crew. Is any of that true? Lisa Grant checked her engineering console. Well, the shields do bend space a little. That's how they work. And the targeting system uses quantum entanglement, so technically it is faster than light. The power core is just a standard fusion plant with magnetic containment. Elena turned back to the screen. Admiral, I think we need to talk. Really talk. Because I'm starting to understand the problem here. The diplomatic dinner was supposed to ease tensions. Admiral Xanthar had invited 3 human crew members aboard his flagship. The massive dining hall could hold hundreds, but tonight it hosted just 8 beings. 4 Zephyrians and 4 humans sat at a round table. Captain Rodriguez introduced her crew. This is Daniel Kim, our cultural advisor, Grace Mitchell, our navigator, and Dr. Patricia Lee, our medical officer. The Zephyrians nodded their scaled heads. Traditional food from both species filled the table. The humans politely tried the glowing blue soup while the aliens examined the human dishes with curiosity. Your food is quite interesting, said the Zephyrian cultural expert. Simple proteins and carbohydrates. Daniel Kim smiled. We've learned to appreciate simple things. Helps us focus on exploration. How long has your species traveled the stars? Asked Admiral Xanthar. About 2.5 centuries, Daniel replied. Though we had spaceflight for about 70 years before we cracked faster than light travel. The Zephyrians exchanged glances. Their species had taken 500 years between first spaceflight and FTL travel. Tell us about your world, encouraged the cultural expert. What drove you to the stars so quickly? Daniel took a sip of water. Well, Earth had some rough periods. Wars, environmental challenges, resource shortages. We realized we needed to spread out or risk extinction. Wars? Xanthar leaned forward. Between nations. Oh yes, pretty bad ones too. We used nuclear weapons a few times before we figured out how stupid that was. The Zephyrians froze. Nuclear weapons were theoretical horrors in their culture, never actually built. You used atomic weapons on your own world, whispered the science officer. Unfortunately, yes, Daniel nodded. World War III was particularly nasty. That's actually what pushed us to develop better technology. After seeing entire cities vaporized, we decided to focus on construction instead of destruction. Grace Mitchell added, the Mars colony started as a backup plan. If Earth became uninhabitable, humanity would survive. You made your planet uninhabitable? Xanthar asked. Almost, Daniel admitted. We fixed it though. Took about a century of terraforming work to repair the damage. Good practice for when we started changing other worlds. You terraform planets. The Zephyrian Admiral's voice cracked. Patricia Lee nodded. Standard procedure for colony worlds. We've gotten quite efficient at it. Venus took 50 years. Mars only needed 30. The aliens sat in stunned silence. Terraforming was considered a mythical technology, something ancient civilizations might have possessed. Your navigation, the Zephyrian scientist addressed Grace. How do you calculate jumps so precisely? Grace pulled out her tablet. Oh, it's just standard quantum mechanics. We map probability fields and fold space along the optimal paths. Would you like to see the equations? She displayed a series of formulas. The Zephyrian scientist stared at them, his scales turning pale. Half the mathematics didn't exist in their science. These symbols, what do they represent? That's dimensional resonance, Grace explained casually. Space has 11 dimensions, but only 4 are normally active. We briefly activate the others for travel. 11 dimensions. The scientist looked ready to faint. We've only theorized about 5. Daniel continued eating, unaware of the shock he was causing. The real breakthrough came when we figured out how to harness zero-point energy. Before that, we were stuck with fusion. Zero-point energy is a myth, Xanthar stated flatly. Oh no, it's quite real, Patricia said. We use it in medical equipment. Very useful for cellular regeneration. Would you like to see? She pulled out a small medical scanner and ran it over a cut on her hand. The wound healed instantly. The Zephyrians watched in silence. Everything the humans said casually revolutionized their understanding of science. Your species, Xanthar finally spoke. You survived nuclear war, repaired a damaged world, mastered impossible physics, and chose to become peaceful merchants. Daniel smiled. Well, when you put it like that, it sounds impressive. To us, it's just history. We learned from our mistakes. That's what terrifies us. Xanthar admitted. You treat miraculous technology as mundane. You discuss planet-breaking weapons like ancient history. You heal wounds instantly and call it basic medicine. Elena looked at her crew, then at the aliens. I think I'm beginning to understand the problem. What's normal for us is impossible for you. Exactly, Xanthar said. And we don't know how to process that. The tour of the horizon's edge was supposed to be simple. Admiral Xanthar and his science team would see the human ship up close. Maybe then they would understand that humans meant no harm. Chief Engineer Robert Chen led the group through the corridors. Welcome aboard. I'll show you our main systems. Feel free to ask questions. The aliens followed nervously, their scanning devices active. Every reading they took added to their confusion. This is our power core, Robert said, opening a heavy door. Standard Mark 7 fusion reactor with quantum stabilizers. The room beyond glowed with soft blue light. At its center, a sphere of contained energy pulsed gently. The Zephyrian scientists stared at their instruments in disbelief. That's not fusion, whispered the lead scientist. That's a controlled singularity. You're using a baby black hole for power. Robert shook his head. No, it's just compressed hydrogen undergoing fusion. The quantum fields keep it stable. Every human ship has one. The energy density is impossible, the scientist continued. It should collapse into a black hole or explode. Oh, it would without the stabilizers, Robert agreed. We learned it the hard way during early testing. Lost a few moons figuring out the balance. The aliens exchanged horrified looks. Humans had destroyed moons just testing their power systems. They moved to the engine room. Pilot Kevin Brooks was running system checks. Hey, Chief, giving the tour. Yeah, this is Kevin, our pilot. He handles the ship's movement systems. Kevin waved from his position under a control panel. Nice to meet you. Just adjusting the spacefold generators. We've got a slight drift in the quantum field. Admiral Xanthar watched Kevin work. How do you fold space without massive gravitational arrays? Kevin slid out, wiping his hands. Oh, we don't use gravity. Too energy intensive. We manipulate quantum strings directly. Much more efficient. He stood up and demonstrated on a nearby screen. See, space is like fabric. You just grab the quantum strings and fold them together. Simple. The demonstration showed space itself bending like paper. The Zephyrian scientists recorded everything, knowing their colleagues would never believe it. This is impossible, Zenther said. The energy required would be astronomical. Not really, Kevin replied. Once you understand string harmonics, it barely takes any power. Want to see? Before anyone could object, Kevin activated a small demonstration. The space in the corner of the room folded in on itself, creating a tiny portal to the other side of the ship. See? Easy. We use this for quick repairs in hard-to-reach places. The aliens stood frozen. This human had just casually torn a hole in space-time for a demonstration. They continued to the medical bay. Dr. Patricia Lee was organizing supplies. Robert, bringing visitors. The Admiral wanted to see our ship, Robert explained. This is our medical facility. The room looked simple. White walls, clean surfaces, basic equipment. Nothing threatening. Until Patricia demonstrated the bioregenerator. This is our standard medical unit, she said, placing her hand on a gleaming cylinder. It can heal most injuries instantly. Broken bones, organ damage, even some brain injuries. How? Asked the Zephyrian doctor. Quantum field manipulation at the cellular level, Patricia explained. The field reads the body's quantum signature and repairs any deviations. We based it on the same principles as our shields. She showed them the inside of the device. To the aliens, it looked like crystallized impossibility. Energy patterns that shouldn't exist. Mathematics made physical. Your shields work on biological principles, Zenther asked. Everything is connected, Patricia said. Matter, energy, space, time, biology. Once you understand the quantum foundations, you can manipulate any of them. Admiral Zenther felt his worldview crumbling. Every human ship has these capabilities. Robert nodded. Standard equipment. The colony ships have even better gear. They need to be self-sufficient. If this is standard, Zenther said slowly, what do your advanced ships carry? The humans looked confused. Advanced ships? Asked Robert. This is pretty much top of the line. We stopped major upgrades about 20 years ago. Current tech does everything we need. The truth finally hit the aliens. Humans hadn't been hiding their advanced technology. This was their normal. Their civilian standard. They had transcended the need for dedicated warships because their merchant vessels surpassed anything the galaxy could produce. We need to report this to the Council, Zenther said quietly. Everything we thought we knew was wrong. The Galactic Council's emergency meeting stretched into its third day. Representatives from every major civilization sat in stunned silence as they reviewed the reports from the Zephyrian contact team. Let me understand this correctly, said the Council Speaker Zex, his crystalline form dim with stress. Humans achieved all this without conquering other species. Ambassador Nickelwright stood before the assembly. That's correct. We've never invaded another world. We've never enslaved another species. But why? Demanded the Krellian representative, his tentacles writhing in confusion. With such power, you could rule everything. Nickel considered her answer carefully. Because ruling is hard work. Conquering means fighting. Fighting means rebuilding. Rebuilding takes resources. It's much easier to trade and cooperate. The logic was simple, but it shattered everything the Council believed about advanced civilizations. Maria Santos, the human strategic analyst, joined Nickel at the podium. May I share some Earth history? The Council agreed. Maria activated her display, showing images of Earth's past. This is Earth after our Third World War, she began. The image showed devastated cities and poisoned landscapes. We nearly destroyed ourselves. 20 billion dead. Entire continents uninhabitable. The aliens watched in horror. Their own wars had never reached such scales. This taught us something important, Maria continued. Destruction is easy. Creation is hard. We chose to focus on creation. But your biology, interrupted the Varkian scientist. Our scans show incredible resilience, natural immunity to radiation, rapid healing, enhanced strength in higher gravity. Dr. Patricia Lee stepped forward. Those aren't natural. After the wars, we enhanced ourselves to survive the damaged environment. Genetic modifications, nanotechnology, quantum field adjustments to our cellular structure. You changed your own species. The concept horrified many delegates. We adapted, Patricia explained, first to survive our mistakes, then to explore space better. Each colony world brought new challenges, so we kept adapting. The revelations continued. Every answer created new questions. Your development speed. Pressed the Zephyrian scientist. How did you advance so quickly? A young human scientist, Dr. Andrew Park answered. We share everything. No secrets between nations or corporations. When one human discovers something, all humans benefit. Competition happens, but in innovation, not secrecy. You have no classified technology. The military representatives couldn't grasp this concept. Some, Andrew admitted, but mostly for safety reasons. We learned that hiding knowledge slows progress. Open cooperation accelerates development. The council members began discussing among themselves. Their civilizations had spent millennia jealously guarding technological secrets, fighting over resources, conquering for advancement. Humans had simply shared and surpassed them all. There's something else. Admiral Xanthar spoke up. Their approach to problems. When they encountered an obstacle, they didn't try to overcome it with force. They found ways around it. New solutions, different thinking. Nicole nodded. We call it lateral thinking. If you can't go through a wall, go around it. If you can't go around it, go over it. If you can't go over it, maybe you don't need to get to the other side after all. The simplicity was profound. The council realized they had been thinking in straight lines while humans thought in curves and spirals. What about threats? Asked the military advisor. Hostile species. Aggressive civilizations. Captain Rodriguez, who had joined the meeting, answered. We've encountered a few. Usually, we offer trade. If they attack, our shields hold while we jump away. Why fight when you can leave? Space is big. You run from battles. The warrior species representatives seemed offended. We avoid unnecessary conflicts, Alina corrected. Fighting wastes time and resources. We'd rather explore new systems than destroy old ones. The paradigm shift was visible across the chamber. Centuries of belief about power, advancement, and dominance crumbled before human practicality. You've weaponized peace, the Thraxian ambassador observed, made cooperation more powerful than conquest. Maria smiled. We didn't weaponize anything. We just realized that making friends is more productive than making enemies. The math is simple. Friends help you. Enemies try to hurt you. Which would you prefer? As the session ended, the council faced a new reality. The most advanced species in the galaxy hadn't achieved their position through war or conquest. They had simply chosen a better path, and that choice had made them unstoppable. The signing ceremony took place on Aurora Station, a neutral facility in empty space. Representatives from the Galactic Council sat across from the human delegation. The document between them would change the galaxy forever. Admiral Xanthar spoke first, his voice now filled with respect rather than fear. Captain Rodriguez, on behalf of the Zephyrian Empire and the Galactic Council, I formally apologize for our initial response. We misunderstood your intentions. Elena smiled warmly. No apology needed, Admiral. First contact is always complicated. We're just glad we could work things out. The treaty established new protocols for technological exchange. Humans agreed to share basic scientific principles, while the Council offered cultural knowledge and star charts. "Are you sure about this?" asked the Varkian representative. "Your technology could destabilize the galaxy if misused." Ambassador Nickel Wright responded carefully. "We'll share knowledge gradually. Theory first, then basic applications. Each species can develop at their own pace." Dr. Andrew Park had already begun working with alien scientists. In a nearby laboratory, he explained quantum mechanics to a mixed group of researchers. "The key is understanding that reality is flexible," Andrew said, drawing equations on a holographic board. "Once you accept that, the impossible becomes possible." The young xenobiologist had formed a special connection with Vex 7, the Zephyrian scientist. They spent hours comparing notes, bridging the gap between human and alien understanding. "Your mathematics is beautiful," Vex 7 commented. "It sees patterns we missed." Andrew nodded. "And your biological sciences are amazing. You understand life in ways we never imagined. Together, we can achieve incredible things." Back in the main conference room, the Galactic Council's military advisors presented their new defense protocols. "We've created a new threat assessment category," announced the Thraxian general. "Classification Omega. Impossibly advanced but inexplicably friendly." The humans laughed. Captain Rodriguez shook her head. "We don't need a special category. We're just people who learned from our mistakes." "That's exactly what makes you special," Admiral Xenthar replied. "Most species never learn. They repeat the same patterns until they destroy themselves." The Council had spent the week studying human history intensively. What they found amazed them. Humans had nearly destroyed themselves multiple times. Each crisis had pushed them to evolve, adapt, and improve. "Your resilience is remarkable," observed the crystalline speaker. "You turned every disaster into a stepping stone." Maria Santos addressed the group. "We have a saying on Earth, 'What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.' We took that literally." The treaty included provisions for cultural exchange. Human artists would visit alien worlds. Alien philosophers would study on Earth. Knowledge would flow freely. "There's one thing I don't understand," said a young Krellian diplomat. "If you're so powerful, why haven't we heard of you before?" Grace Mitchell answered. "Space is vast. We've been exploring in different directions. This is actually our first contact with a major galactic government." "You mean there might be others like you out there?" The thought both thrilled and worried the Council. "Probably," Grace shrugged. "The universe is full of possibilities." As the ceremony concluded, Captain Rodriguez made an announcement. "The Horizon's Edge will complete its delivery run, then return with a full diplomatic team. We have a lot to learn from each other." The aliens watched the human ship prepare for departure. Its engines powered up with that impossible efficiency. Its shields shimmered with reality-bending energy. Its crew waved goodbye like old friends. "Do you think we'll ever catch up to them?" asked Vex 7. Admiral Xenthar considered the question. "Maybe not in technology. But perhaps that's not the point. They've shown us something more important than advanced science." "What's that?" "That the greatest power isn't in weapons or shields. It's in choosing not to use them. In building bridges instead of walls. In sharing instead of hoarding." As the Horizon's Edge jumped to faster than light speed, bending space with casual ease, the Galactic Council faced its new future. The galaxy had changed forever. Not through conquest or war, but through a simple cargo ship carrying impossible technology and even more impossible ideas. Humanity had arrived, and they came in peace.